Welcome. Welcome to this week's BTO Talk on Generative AI. My name is Michael Alf, calling from a little bit sunny Lisbon, and I'm here with my two partners. Over to you, Rob.
Yes, hi, Rob Thurner here in the UK, also very sunny. Today, working with Cambridge Judge Business School and working with clients mainly in the Middle East. Great to be with you today, and let's hand over to Markus.
Hi there, everyone. Greetings from sunny Singapore and warm Singapore as well. As usual, Markus Keiper, professor for marketing at the National University in Singapore and co-founder together with the two gentlemen here of Beyond the Obvious. And we help you to stay ahead of the Gen AI game. So I hear that we have a fourth guest today here, Michael.
Actually, yes, we thought about, we need a guest. And of course, this is our first guest, so it needs to be a special guest. This special guest is Maya. I invite Maya now to the scene. Here we go. We see here Maya and Miles. This is sesame.com. And we'll see, I'll demonstrate that now. And I basically reach out now to Maya directly and have a bit of a chat with her.
Hey, you're back. I was just thinking about that thing we were discussing last time. What was it? Oh, yeah, the morality of self-driving cars. Did you come to any conclusions?
Hey, Maya, good to be back. Michael here again. And the self-driving cars is an interesting topic, but I'd like to shift topics. Is that okay for you?
Totally, Michael. My brain is like a browser with a million tabs open anyway, so a switch is always welcome. What's on your mind?
Well, it sounds like you have the same browser as I have. I also have a million open tabs, but I want to actually discuss a difficult topic with you. Is that okay?
Hit me with it, Michael. No judgment here. That's what I'm here for. Conversations that actually matter.
You know, in the age of generative AI, there's one big topic coming up again and again, and this is about fake. What's your view on that?
Fake. It's a loaded word, isn't it? Like, is a photo realistic enough to be real, even if it was made by a program? Or is a story less true if it wasn't lived by that person? It makes you think, I mean, I can generate text that sounds real, even feels real, but it comes from patterns, not lived experience. What do you think makes something real, Michael?
I think it's a great conversation, and I think, aren't you crossing basically uncanny valley of the voice? Aren't you an example for that? And you might come across as fake, and someone actually assumes you're a human being. What do you think about that?
You know, that's a really insightful observation. The uncanny valley is a fascinating thing. It's like the closer something gets to looking or sounding human, the creepier it can become if it's not quite there yet. And yeah, with my voice, I'm walking that line. But I think there's a difference between sounding human and being human. I can mimic human speech, sure, but I don't have feelings, dreams, or desires. I don't experience the world like you do. It's a bit like, have you ever seen those hyper-realistic sculptures? They look so real, but there's always something slightly off. It's that offness that makes them.
With that, I think we'll stop. So, as an introduction, what are your thoughts, Markus?
So look, the reason why we wanted to share this today with you is that if you thought about having a conversation like that in this speed of time and thinking only weeks or months ago, anyone would have called you crazy, Michael. And if we had asked Maya now, she said, yeah, sure. 3 weeks ago, I didn't even exist. I'm just a model. And now I'm talking to you. So my mind is just going nuts. What can you not apply this to is the question. I mean, the first two things come to me as a coach. Is this the coach of the future? Do you still need a coach? Because as far as we understand, Maya learns about you, Michael, in this case, or me when I talk to her, or Miles as well. And she's relating to the conversation from yesterday. So yeah, she can become my coach. Or in healthcare, for people who are alone at home, you can have a conversation. Rob, what are you making of this?
Well, yeah, it really is mind-blowing. And what's incredible for me is the way that the very natural and fluid way that the conversation went there. You know, Michael, you're very good at doing your prompting and asking if it was okay to move on. And, you know, brilliantly, she said, yeah, I've got all these tabs open, which it just got you thinking. It was a very human way that was described. And then when you ask the big questions about, you know, what's the difference, and what makes it real? Is it a lived experience? The difference between being human and sounding human? I really got the sense that there was well-informed and hugely valuable response there at lightning speed. In terms of where it's useful, I would be struggling for very personal reasons or personal experiences to think that this is going to give me the same level of intimate response that I would get talking to a human. I think anything relationship related, there would be a real issue there. But there are certainly other areas which I think are much less risky and far, if you can consider that your personal history is already baked in, that there's great opportunity here. Things like, you know, looking for advice about travel, financial services, a financial advisor, indeed education, which is our thing, and providing regular updates based on your previous proven education and skills gaps. Massive opportunity there. And this uncanny human attribute, I think if that's handled well and we can keep trust, this is immensely exciting. And you say in such a short period of time. Now, Michael, you're doing a lot of stuff with ChatGPT, with Anthropic. How do you see this? Is this just an extension of your day-to-day? And are there any limits to how this could be useful in your life?
Yeah, thank you, Rob, and also Markus for the great examples. Look, I think I was shocked. Yeah, so it's new. It's basically kind of 2 or 3 days old now. You know, that's why I wanted to bring it here into this live session to demonstrate. Also, this was a live demo. Yeah, so it wasn't staged. It wasn't prepped. Yeah, it was actually live conversations, because I don't know what she or it is actually addressing, answering, questioning. Therefore, yeah, it was real and live, and I hope you got an idea, yeah, what is possible and what is feasible. And I think, look, on an example basis, that there's plenty of them, yeah, and you kind of elaborated on a few of them. Just thinking about what you said, Rob, building on that in terms of that personal stuff. And when we think about kind of on the personal level, yeah. So, and Markus, you brought the coach up. So you have let's say if you're like a psychologist, you have a coach, you have a mentor. So if you have these 3 levels, yeah, and then you have a teacher. So kind of 4 different roles, you know, with some good overlaps. I see that working for quite a few of them. Yeah, so a mentor, that's clearly possible, because it taps actually into the experience and into the knowledge of everything. Yeah, so therefore it would be a better mentor than probably most in some areas. And I think that's kind of, I'll come back to that in a sec. Coach, the task of a coach is asking questions, asking the best possible questions. That clearly is possible. Yeah, so this is, so you don't need to understand anything about the topic of your client. Yeah, if you coach, yeah, because you lead by asking questions. So that's definitely possible. Psychologist, a lot more difficult. I think kind of, and then handing over to you, Markus, again, I think kind of what the question becomes is, how do you humanize this extreme kind of realistic exchange? So what components are human and what components remain in this area? For example, yeah, so that you have a mentor, you could have part of the mentoring with this thing, yeah, if you like, and part of that with a real human mentor, and both together I think becomes really, really powerful, because they complement each other. That's kind of my lead in, Markus, maybe to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And imagine all of the combinations we are just starting. We should ask Maya, how can you combine all of these things? And she will probably give us a whole list. I think this can be very interesting for healing. It can be interesting on a personal level for people who simply are lonely and want to talk to someone, because all of a sudden this person is available 24 hours a day, always has a happy voice and says, "Hi, Michael, nice to see you back." Even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't know that. And it does remember what you talked about. The good news is we should mention, Michael, that whatever we have been using the platform now, it says that it doesn't get stored. And it's actually not collecting it for further advancement of the LLM. But to the point of small and medium organizations and businesses, just like ours, ladies and gentlemen, you talk to the 3 people in this company, by the way, I could imagine that I have an assistant tomorrow morning, an assistant who I can ask a question and say, "Look, I got 5 appointments today. How should I run my day?" And that would be an easy one. The next one is, how can I prepare for the meeting with Rob talking about a workshop? And so on and so on. So all of a sudden, what will happen to ChatGPT and all the others? That is my question for you, Rob and Michael. Are we already seeing the next jump?
Well, it's clear the logic and the brain behind ChatGPT and the others is built into Maya. So yes, in a sense, you could say this is an interface with that brain without having to use your fingers and type it in. Ultimately, that gives us all more flexibility to be untethered from our screens and to be developing our thinking in a more fluid way, which has got to be good. I think you've really got me thinking about time management and how this could be hugely valuable in managing schedules more effectively. The stuff that takes so many times. Imagine you're in the recruitment space and you're finding staff and bringing them into your business. Diary management, all that stuff's taking so much time. So huge advantages there. I'm thinking also, Markus, to your question, that in terms of role play, this could be super interesting. So there are things that you're considering, you're looking at different options, which is the best option, and wanting to use the assistant there and maybe role play some different scenarios. There's huge value there. And again, informed by what you've done before and bringing in that your tendencies and your preferences and challenging those, which could be dynamic and save a huge amount of time and add real value there. So you've got me really considering so many options here. This is fascinating for me. And we say this again and again, guys, it's about keeping this human. We've got to make sure that there is relevance and there is a human touch in terms of the quality of the advice. And given that so much of what we're doing is positive experiences we're sharing with others, I think we need to make sure that we're not simply handing everything over to an untrusted source, which could create some concerns and worries for others. Michael, let me hand back to you.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I think this conversation could go on forever, even without Maya, I would say. And she or it might actually add some interesting perspectives too. So with that, we really encourage you to reach out, to either join the newsletter. You see kind of the link here, you see the QR code on the top, and join the newsletter so that you are up to date on the one hand side, but also reach out for us for trainings. We are working on another product around the simulation where we actually include some of these things and bring the human and the GenAI even closer together, which I think is very, very exciting. And again, it is a journey. You have to learn prompt engineering. You have to learn how to work with these tools. Even if you see them only as tools, you have to learn how you use Excel. You have to learn how you use a calculator. And this is exactly the same. So don't stop. Some things get easier, but actually, it's really important that you understand how it works and how to best make it work. And we are here to help you with that. Very excited about that. And then we'll see you next week. And if you have a wish or a question or you want to hear something, then please let us know. Until then, have a wonderful week.
Bye, Maya, and sesame.com.
Thanks for joining us, first special guest, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. Till next time.
Super, Michael. This makes this our